Here I am interviewing my oldest living relative, Gertie Ellis, born October 14th, 1914, in St. John's, Newfoundland. Throughout her long life, she has experienced many things, including both the World Wars, Newfoundland joining Canada, seeing man walk on the moon, and much more. She is still alive and in good health at 95 years old. Please enjoy the video.
What was St. John's like when you were growing up?
Well, all I can say now is proved an awful lot since when I was growing up. There's more modern now than ever it was. We had to go draw water out of tanks and everything. Yeah. And
You kind of lived on a farm when you were growing up?
it's not a farm, it was only, we had a nice bit of ground in there, and my parents used to set out all kinds of vegetables, potatoes, turnip, cabbage, and I used to have to work on it. And I told you we had to go draw the water from a tank, right?
Yep.
Yeah. And we had a well downstairs in our old house in there. And I used to have to bring the water up buckets over the stairs. And that wasn't easy.
Where did you live when you were growing up?
It seemed like I couldn't get away from Fishwater Road. I left Gear Street, that's where I was born. Then we went to Fishwater Road up by the manse, where your school is. Then we moved into the country.
And where was that?
Fishwater Road, where we had all the vegetables, the land, all the
Okay.
vegetables grown. And then we moved from that. My mother, like the lawyer used to say, she was real business. She do all the selling of the houses and everything. She bought this one down Montgomery. It was a lovely house, but my father hated it.
You had animals out on the farm where you
Yeah,
lived.
we had a lovely little pony, Ned. And I don't know to this day what happened to him. We had hens, and we had a cat.
But did you sell the hens for money?
No, we used to sell the eggs though.
Okay.
St. John's has changed a lot since Aunt Gertie was growing up. The area of Freshwater Road where she lived was once an open field. Now it is a busy city street. Aunt Gertie was born when World War I started, and she was a young woman at the beginning of World War II.
And you were alive during both of the World Wars, World War I and World War II, right?
Yes.
So what was that like, living through the wars?
It was terrible. We had to keep our blinds down. The house was dark all the time. We had to keep the blinds down because at that time we were afraid of somebody coming, you know. That was when Bill, your Uncle Bill, joined up for the war. He joined up for the war. He never got in though. He went down. He was all ready to join up. He went down, and my mother discovered he had a bag underneath the bed, and apparently he didn't bring it with him or something. I don't know how she found out. She went down to where he was supposed to join up, and she put a stop to it. She said, he's only 16 years old. He's not going to no war.
So he was underage. He wanted to join, but he was underage.
He should have been 18 at least. Yeah, he was underage. And when he used to come home, he said, I was too young for the first war, and now I'm too old for the second one. And he wanted to go away, see.
Aunt Gertie also talked about what life was like when she was growing up. While most of her free time was taken up by chores, her and her friends did play some games very different from ones we play today.
Do you want to know when I was growing up and what we did for play?
Yeah.
Well, when we get out of school, we couldn't do any play. We get out of school, we had to come home. We get out of school go to school at 9 o'clock. We get out about 1:45 for lunch and 1:45 for come home. I had to come home. There's dishes to be washed. You fellas don't know what it is like about work.
Well, I know it's no fun.
No fun. That's what Mrs. and I were talking about last night. And beds to be made. Kitchen. I remember one time I came home, chest was in the sink washing the dishes. But that's all I had to do. I come home, because we get out after supper for an hour or so, and there was 5 or 6 of us used to get together, and we get out night time and we play games. See? Hush Says and Warners was one of them. And what's that one you played on the floor? Did you ever play the one on the floor? Scotch something?
Hopscotch?
Yes, hopscotch. We used to play that. And when we got to school, the girls would go, they had a rope and they would be skipping. And the boys would play marbles. Let me see now. And we used to play songs, and Frank and me used to go down. You know where Rankin Street is, where Butler had the rink.
Yeah.
We used to go down there sliding over the hill there. That was the hill then. And we go down there and slide.
And Gertie lived her whole life in St. John's, Newfoundland. But like many other Newfoundland families, almost all of her brothers and sisters moved away to different places. Some of them ended up as far as Brooklyn, New York. That's where my grandmother was born.
You're from here, but a lot of your family went away to other
Yes,
places?
my brother Bill went away after he couldn't join the war, join up. He decided, and he came over to school. I was going to the Adventist school then. And he came over to say goodbye to me. I had one sister, I had 2, but one died, and in her infancy, and I had another one. She went away to the States and worked, and all the boys went except Ron and Jack. But Jack went after. He went to work with a dairy farm up there.
The certificate?
That's another brother.
Oh, so
He was killed.
do you mind if I get that down? Just
Yes,
for a
my
second.
dear, look at it.
So whose is this? The certificate. Whose is it?
This is my brother Sam.
He was a medic?
Yeah, he tried to save somebody. I know there's one man he's trying to save, went out and he lost his life trying to save this man.
So he got 2 certificates for
Yeah.
serving in the war.
Yeah.
Okay.
And you know, your grandmother could tell you more about him than I could, because I think she got it all wrote down somewhere.
Throughout her long life, Aunt Gertie has seen many changes in technology, from stoves to washing machines. I asked her about what life was like before they even had refrigerators. Here are some of her answers.
How much has technology changed over the years for you, growing up over all these years? How much have you seen technology change? What were things like before you even had the stove or the fridge or telephones like today?
Put it in tin, bring it down to the basement.
So that kept the food cold.
Oh yes.
So you bring the
Bring the
food,
food down to the basement, put it on the concrete floor.
so that
We'd
kept
have
it
it in
cold.
a tin, some sort of a tin, cake tin or something. You know.
And you didn't have stoves, did you?
Oh,
So
we had stove, yes. Forget the name of the coal stove I had, not the coal stove, the first oil stove I had. Just forget the name of it now. And we had the oven, when you warmed the food, the oven was up on top of the stove. And that would keep you would put it in the oven, you would put it up on the top of the stove, and that would keep it warm.
how did you heat your houses?
We had an oil stove out in the hall. That would heat up the upstairs too. But I was always frightened to death, afraid something was going to happen and catch fire and fire. I came down one morning and my father had turned it on. He put more oil in the stove. And my Lord, I told him, I said, Papa, I said, turn it off. And the oil stove got right hot. I had to open the doors and everything, just in case of fire. But I was nervous. I was glad we got rid of that. With coal stove, don't talk about coal. I remember when we used to get coal every summer, and I'd had to go out and start shoveling it in the window. And when I get it in the window, I had to go downstairs and straighten it out down the stairs. and it wasn't easy either.
No.
Tell you what, we had a hard time when we were growing up. I don't know why I lived so long, to tell you the truth.